welcome to Fanfiction Analysis with Emma Ivelli. I'm Emma Ivelli, and this is my possessed computer V. Now, I've talked about bash fics a couple times on this show. And no, this isn't that AU bash fic thing I talked about a couple episodes ago. They annoy me. They don't anger me, but sometimes it gets close to it. Most of the time, I'm just fascinated by them. And when this story was being updated, yeah, that fascination really showed. This is a Harry Potter bash fic where he's paired up with Gabrielle. And don't worry, it's aged up Gabrielle. This is Why Is It Always Me by Blockster 550. No, it's humor romance. At least it claims to be humor romance. I've also seen a few people in the reviews think it's a satire, but I'll get to those thoughts later. Word of warning, if it's not a satire, it's bad. So let's get started. Oh, and thanks to a suggestion from the last time we did a look at, V, timestamp it. Go here if you want to skip the synopses. Synopses. It's the day the other school's alive for the Triwizard Tournament. Haley, of course, is worried something bad is going to happen. And of course, his name pops out of the goblet. His fellow champions believe he didn't put his name. However, Ron and Hermione don't believe him. Meanwhile, Gabrielle's worried about Haley, believing he didn't put his name in. The next morning, Haley says good morning to the Chasers, who are also getting bashed in this story, and they removed him from the Quidditch team next year. Then when he says good morning to Ron and Hermione slaps Haley and he runs out of the room. If you choose to lead this story, be wary. He's gonna get slapped a lot in this story. I'm skipping most of it, however, for the synopses. Then it's revealed that Dumbledore is running a conspiracy with Mungus Fletcher, Cornelius Fudge, Lodo Bagman, and both Barty Crouches. Gabrielle Fleur and two OC friends all assure Haley that they believe him. However, he is constantly bullied by everyone else in school. Thankfully, Professor Snape is worried about him. Then the Leader Skeeter interview happens. Of course, the bullying continues. Harry gets kicked out of the Gryffindor common room. Also, during this time, he is introduced to Luna. Just getting it out there, she is a very prominent character in this story. Later, Harry is harassed by several Gryffindors and Hufflepuffs when suddenly a tree loot attacks them. Haley discovers that Gabrielle did it, and they introduce themselves to each other. The members of the group get in trouble with the heads of houses, and Malfoy offers that he and his clownies join their group, which Ron accepts. This is chapter 6 of the story. It's gonna get stupider. Haley meets the Greenglass sisters and befriends them. Harry's told about the dragons. However, Haley permanently is banished from the Gryffindor common room using a spell to ban people. The weighing of the wands happens. Also, Gabrielle is threatened by the Anti-Potter Club, which is one of the names it will become later in the story. They're also called the Haley Haters at several points. This is a very blunt story. The first task happens, and when it does, Ron forgives Haley for submitting his name. When Haley points out that Ron and Hermione are the ones that owe the apology, they snap at him. Later during the confrontation, Malfoy punches Luna, while Neville punches him right back. During a party celebrating the end of the task, the two start dating, with also hinting that Ginny will end up with Victor Klum. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Ginny does not get bashed. However, Leader Skeeter runs a story about Haley and Ginny dating. The Yule Ball is announced and Haley is once again harassed. However, the Anti-Potter Club comes up with a plan for Pansy to claim they are engaged by contract. However, the plans are overheard by some of the people on Haley's side. Also, Pansy scares off Gabrielle. Haley later overheard the plans involving going to the ball with Pansy, and then Malfoy making a scene calling him a girlfriend stealer. Haley and Gabrielle talk again, and she mentions that Pansy took a berserker potion. Later, Haley takes a magical vow in front of his bullies, and they still don't believe he didn't put his name in. And it's still going to get stupider. Haley asks Gabrielle to the Yule Ball. However, the Haley haters come up with a plan involving love potions. Leader Skeeter releases another article which pisses off the Weasleys and Amelia Bones, as Susan is one of Haley's main tormentors. They all get howlers along with Hannah. Snape also finds certain potion ingredients are missing. The Haley haters come up with a plan using a marriage contract that will make Haley a slave. When the Yule Ball happens, Pansy tries to use the love potion on Haley, but it fails when Ron drinks it instead. During this time, Haley and his friends doses them with laxative potions. When the ball is over, Gabrielle gives Haley a kiss on the cheek. However, Leader Skeeter is, of course, witnessing this. The next day, the Haley haters send Haley and some of his friends howlers. They also set up a HQ in a cave outside of Hogsmeade to brew potions so they won't get in trouble. However, it does get them in trouble because they stopped attending classes. And it's still going to get stupider. When Professor McGonagall brings this up to Dumbledore, she gets suspicious. Gringotts also discover the fake marriage contract. Back at Hogwarts, there's notices saying everyone who's been tormenting Haley is facing expulsion. Also, the twins and Lee set up traps for the group. Ron attempts a plan in Hogsmeade, which fails spectacularly. And later, Hermione confronts Haley, only for him to give her Reason You Suck speech. It's also revealed that Dumbledore has been keeping Gringotts' mail from Haley. Snape reveals to Haley that Dumbledore has been blackmailing him his entire life. And it still gets stupider. Haley and Gabrielle go on a date, but of course, some of the Haley haters try to ruin it. They manage to overcome it, thankfully. Haley uncovers the clue about the second task. The second task happens. Afterwards, Bill personally gives Haley a Gringotts letter, which Dumbledore immediately confiscates. Also, the tormentors make another attempt to ruin Haley with the Leader Skeeter article. However, while it does make Haley angry, it backfires spectacularly as it gets a lot of other people angry and upset. Haley goes to Gringotts where the standard will plot happens. This is so standard! You could probably fill in the blanks without reading this story. Yeah, that. And then the goblins reveal fake documents involving Haley, such as the fake marriage contract and a lot of stuff involving Dumbledore. They also inform Amelia Bones of what happened, who's beyond pissed off that her niece had something to do with it. While at Diagon Alley, they meet up with Wood and tell him he was unjustly kicked off the Quidditch team. Haley tells Gabrielle about his time with the Dursleys. So she sends a howler at them, and the whole neighborhood hears. And so Haley and his friends start planning revenge on everyone with the help of Hogwarts itself. A brand new article is written about Haley in the Daily Prophet. Also, Wood sends a howler at the Chasers. Thanks to this, Professor McGonagall finds out and kicks them off the team. Several people are arrested at the Ministry. Haley is able to confront Pansy and gives her a Reason Why You Suck speech, and also tells her about the punishment facing the others. This also revealed that Melita Edgecombe and Theodore Knott were also part of the Haley haters as well, and after using or trying to use the Unforgivables, they get captured. Haley discovers that if a person is unwilling, they can withdraw from the tournament, and the person who was the one to enter them will lose their magic. he withdraws from the tournament, and Barty Crouch Jr. loses his magic and reverts from his magical disguise. You really couldn't help yourself, could you, V? Everyone notices a keychain and realizes he's holding someone hostage, which is revealed to be the real Mad-Eye Moody. Also, there's other people being held hostage. Lily and James, who are alive, along with a little girl who looks like Lily, a girl who looks like Sirius, and Tom Little, who is a good guy, apparently. And it's still going to get stupider! Meanwhile, Pansy is having remorse and is seemingly falling in love with Haley. Back at Hogwarts, the teachers confront Dumbledore, and he gets suspended. Also, Lily and James tells everyone what's going on. But I'm going to save that for later. And soon enough, Ron gets captured. Afterwards, they plink Malfoy, and he gets captured as well. And soon, a good chunk of them are captured. When they finally confront Hermione, she reveals that she brainwashed Pansy, who was good all along. And it's still going to get stupider. Also, it turns out Hermione's been dating Miles Beltry for a while. He's a somewhat minor Slytherin character. Thankfully, she gets captured. However, she and her boyfriend escape, confront Haley with Flint. They reveal that they faked the troll attack and were the ones controlling the basilisk. It also turns out the three of them can control trolls and has one attack Haley. It might seem impossible, but it's going to get stupider. Thankfully, they beat the troll and they get captured again. After many of Harry's tormentors get disowned by their families, they use a special pensieve to show Harry's childhood memories. Afterwards, Harry and the other give some of his tormentors reason why he sucks speeches. And when it got to Hermione, she is in denial that she did anything wrong. And then one of the actual reviewers shows up in the fanfic to give her a reason why you suck speech. We have reached peak stupidity. I am not kidding here. One of the reviewers suggested they get put into the story and yell at Hermione. This is a sign that could be a parody or a satire, but I'll get into that later. And the Harry haters get arrested. Also, the Queen has it so that everyone from the Harry's classes in primary school finds out about the abuse. Yes, the actual Queen. Meanwhile, the actual reviewer again shows up and beats up Vernon, while Harry beats up Dudley. Meanwhile, Hermione gets interrogated. When she refuses, Amelia uses a special helmet to see her memories, which shows that she uses unforgivables on Katie, Alicia, and Pansy. Back with Harry, he and his parents investigate more things about Dumbledore and what he could have hidden, and discover Amelia's long-lost daughter being held captive. Later, it turns out the tournament was cancelled, so the students from the other schools will be leaving soon. Harry also discovers about Astoria's blood curse. Reminder, this is technically canon. Harry talks about this with his mother, but then gets a bad idea. Also, new teachers are brought on board, the students from the other schools leave, and the trials are set. Hermione's punished in such a way that she has to use her knowledge to cure diseases for the rest of her life, including Astoria's. The others get punished mostly with pleasant sentences. Then Dumbledore and his conspirators are also put on trial, and of course they were found guilty. Harry gets a gift for Gabrielle, and the epilogue shows everyone lives happily ever after. Well, that's it for the synopses. I did leave out quite a bit, especially Neville's subplot. Now it's time for the points. I should get this one out of the way first. Is this a satire or a parody? The thing about this story is that it could be making fun of these types of stories while being under the guise of one. For example, most of the stuff in the second half seems like it would make more sense if it was making fun of these types of stories. One of the things I didn't get into in the synopses is after Hermione is revealed to be one of the big bads, she starts dropping the F-bomb like crazy. Also, there are points where it's so over the top that's kind of funny. Not to mention everything involving that reviewer. And I have to mention one of its genres is humor. But at the same time, it feels so sincere. I'm not going to believe this is a satire unless the writer says it is. So, anyways, next point. This might be the ultimate bash fic. Ron and Dumbledore getting bashed is standard for these kinds of fics. So much so that the first episode of the show was about how Dumbledore getting bashed is nowhere near canon. Now, on the other hand, Hermione getting bashed isn't exactly super rare, but it's not really common either. In fact, she's one of the big bads of this story, which makes it really weird. And that's not where the weirdness ends. Susan, Hannah, and Angelina? I don't think I've ever seen them get bashed this much before. Then there's Seamus, Lavender, the Patel twins, a bunch of Ravenclaws, a bunch of Hufflepuffs, a bunch of Slytherins, which is close to canon. But what really takes the cake with the Haley haters are Mandy Brocklehurst and Megan Jones. For those that don't know, they are named background characters. They have no bearing on the plot of the canon, and they might have been mentioned once or twice. Seriously, I even used them in one of my own fanfics, where they are the reincarnations of anime girls. I mean, come on, seriously though? They're so minor. Why bash them? This honestly baffles me. I mean, having Hermione as one of the big bads while bashing two characters who had no impact in canon, you can see why I think this might be the ultimate bash fic. So anyways, next point. Foreshadowing? What's that? A good twist is something that's foreshadowed. So that when you reread or rewatch something, you realize, holy crap, I didn't notice that the first time. That was really clever. Two good examples of this are the Sixth Sense and the first episode of Madoka Magica. There's barely any foreshadowing. The closest thing I could think of was Pansy taking that berserker potion, hinting that there was something amiss with her. But other than that, there's nothing. The fact that Haley's parents were alive and had a daughter? The fact that Tom Riddle was good all along? What? The fact that Hermione was actually super evil the whole time? What? Seriously? What? Oh man, this is so dumb, so dumb, so dumb. And speaking of dumb, every single villain is a moron. You can consider every single villain in this story stupid, insane, or both. For example, Hermione is in the insane camp with her never my fault attitude. And then there's Susan, whose subplot can be best summed up as she messes with Haley. Her aunt tells her to stop messing with Haley or there will be repercussions, and she still messes with Haley. There's also the fact that the marriage contract plan fails so hard. How bad does it fail? Well, a blood quill's acquired. A blood quill that Pansy uses to forge Harry's signature, but not his blood. Though to be fair, Pansy was brainwashed at the time, and before she was brainwashed, she did warn them that it was going to fail, so it's more of Hermione and Ron's fault than Pansy's fault. And then there was Dumbledore's plans. I have no idea what his goal was, and I am not exaggerating on that. I tried figuring out, but everything was just the greater good. Did he want to rule the world? That's what I'm currently guessing. Although Fudge was on the plan, did he want to rule the world too? My God, this is so dumb, so dumb, so dumb. Now, I could have missed some things, but it got bogged down by all the dumb in this story, and oh God. Is there any way to make this story less dumb? Or at least tolerable? The why is it always me drinking game. Okay, here's a way to make it less dumb, or at least tolerable. Number 1, take a sip whenever someone calls Haley or uses the term attention seeker. Seriously, I swear it's used so much that's a once-a-chapter thing. Number 2, take a sip whenever someone claims that Haley corrupted or brainwashed someone. This is extremely common and is often hypocritical, which leads to number 2A. Finish your drink whenever someone from the Anti-Potter Club actually brainwashes someone, showing that they are huge hypocrites. C. Number 3. Take a sip whenever Dumbledore and his conspiracy meets. It happened quite a few times, and it wasn't important beyond the first one to mention it as synopses. Number 4, take a sip whenever the terms Haley haters or Anti-Potter Club are used. Those names are so bad. Number 5, take a sip whenever Haley gets slapped. As mentioned before, it happens a lot in the early chapters. Number 5A, finish your drink if the slap fails. Not much to say about that, but it does start to fail. Number 6, take a sip whenever one of the Anti-Potter Club members insists that Haley take Pansy to the ball, or Pansy insists to Haley that they are betrothed. Seriously, they happen a lot in this story. Number 7, take a sip whenever Hermione drops the F-bomb. I am still not kidding about this. After she's revealed to be the big bad, she drops the F-bomb like crazy. Number 8. And finally, finish your drink when you encounter a plot hole that doesn't make any sense. Okay, that should make things more interesting while reading it.
Disclaimer. Emily Barry, Nora has a sex computer V, are responsible for liver failure, alcohol poisoning, drunken stupidity, drunk driving, drunk firing your ex, getting fired for flipping off your boss while drunk. Also, support me on Patreon. Support me on Patreon. Support me on Patreon. Wait, does the button on advertising actually work?
Well, that's it I can think of. Let's get to the 2 every episode points. Quote I'd like to share. Here's some of the exposition about Haley's parents being alive and Tom Riddle being good. Well, son, James started explaining, here goes the whole story. What happened that night was that your mother and I got knocked out by a spell that also shot green light out, but was different from the killing curse. Dumbledore used a lily dark spell to transform into Tom Riddle, just to make it look like he killed us. We weren't out for very long, but pretended to be. And we opened our eyes just a smidgen and saw Dumbledore cut that scar into your forehead, and then he modified your memory to make you think Tom did it. But then, Albus grabbed you to take you away, Lily stated. But he also put a memory charm on James and I to make sure we wouldn't follow him and be able to find you. And then Tom came out of his hiding spot somewhere and explained what he saw Albus doing. Then he offered James and I to go to a safe house where we could train without Dumbledore noticing. So Tom, Lily has been a good guy all this time, said Haley, but what about the Chamber of Secrets in that diary? Albus used another dark spell to accomplish that, said Tom, but he found out that I was within the wards and captured me and blackmailed me into helping him. Just so you, Haley, would have to fight that basilisk, and part of his plan included bringing Ginny Weasley into it. But Albus put a false memory in Ginny, so she would think I was the one controlling her and making her do all of what was Lily Albus's bidding. There's more exposition after that, but I figured that would be a good place to stop. There's not much I can say about that, other than what? And Lily? So, let's get to the next point. Any positives? There is one I would like to talk about. Ron is the only Weasley who gets bashed in this story. In these stories, it's standard for Molly and Ginny to get bashed as well. But this story? Nope. Molly is horrified by her son's actions, while Ginny is a sister figure to Haley and ends up with Victor Clum. It's like Hermione was a magnet for all of the bashing that would have gone to them, but she just took it full force. It's not a big positive, but when it comes to these types of stories, hey, I'm taking what I can get. Also, there's the whole thing about being possibly a satire, so there's that too. Anyways, it's time for the final verdict. Oh man, this is bad. It's really bad. Those who are in character are few and far between. There are gigantic holes in the plot, half the twists don't make any sense, and it's just bad. It's really bad. But considering its over-the-top nature, there is a chance this could be a satire. But I honestly can't consider it as such unless the writer says something. Unless you want to read it as so bad it's good, you want to see it as a satire, or you want to play my drinking game, I recommend avoiding this story. Well, that's it for today's episode, and thankfully I have something more positive in mind for next episode. So, later! Remember to leave a like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Also, support me on Patreon. The link is in the description.